Here's a hopefully short and sweet video in the line with cheap long-range optic. And this offers a good comparison for the Simmons Predator Quest that I've done already. This particular scope is a Vortex Crossfire 6x18x44. It retails for very close to, if not exactly the same amount as the Simmons Predator Quest. This one I picked up for about $270 Canadian plus tax. I'll also mention the rings and base. The base is a Weaver aluminum tactical base. It's this one specifically, of course, for a Remington 700 short action. It's a very good, inexpensive base if you don't mind a zero MOA base. The part number is 48330 or 97T, depending on which place you go to buy your base. They may use either or number. It retails for $25. Pretty cheap for a one-piece base. And the rings I used are Leupold Rifleman steel rings. Part number is 55860. Not anything spectacular. As you can see, the whole scope is held on by 4 screws. It's done quite well so far. And those rings retailed for $18. So pre-tax, I spent less than $320 to get this optic on the rifle and have it set up. It performs very well. I have about 500 rounds through it. This is a newer setup than my Simmons Predator Quest. But still, I've put a number of hand loads through, some quite stout. This is a 308, so it's not like I'm throwing something with a whole lot of recoil at it. How it would perform with a heavy recoil rifle, I can't say. This is probably one of my heavier rifles. Anyway, moving on. It's performed sub MOA. All my hand loads, unless I do something really wrong, are 1 inch or less. I think of 75 rounds I shot, only one group was larger than 1 inch yesterday, and it was 1.1. But most of my groups were between 0.4 and 0.8 of an inch. So this optic setup can do its job, just as long as the loose nut behind the trigger does his job. That being said, the pros and cons between this scope and the Simmons Predator Quest is this scope has a 1 inch tube. Again, for a long range scope, that may be a deal breaker. Hard to say. It has a front adjustable parallax. That's quite a bit less important, but some people really like the side parallax, myself included. It's almost like a must-have luxury item. I can certainly live without it, but I do really enjoy having the side parallax. I'm much more likely to fine-tune and get the proper picture if I have it on the side. The front, I tend to get a little bit lazy with it, perhaps. That may negatively affect my accuracy, depending on what I'm trying to do. The other negative I would say, and this is really looking for something bad to say, is these are a little stiff to turn. Again, I'm really looking for something bad to say. The pros, the turrets are very clearly marked, and they're zeroable. And that is the one big mitigating factor against the Simmons Predator Quest. If that's a deal breaker for you, then that pretty much makes this scope your next best option then. Because the Simmons has literally no mark on it whatsoever, nothing. You can't zero them, and they don't even have graduations on there. Which is just, I don't understand why they didn't do it, but whatever. And another pro is, this is a Vortex scope. It has the Vortex warranty. I've never had to use it. I hear that people have had to use it, that they're really easy to deal with. They've got a very good reputation. Personally, I've never needed to take back a Vortex scope. I do have a number of them. and I've beaten them pretty hard and they've never failed, so, and that in a sense that's far more important than a warranty to me, is I just don't want the scope to fail at all. The scope also does come with the sunshade. It's included in the package. Again, I wasn't expecting it. Opened the box and there it was, and it's like, oh great, nice to have. Again, your cheap lens covers. I mean, they work, but I mean, they keep dust off there. They wouldn't do much other than the incidental for moisture and such, but there you have it. I'll throw in some footage of close-up of the scope, and that should pretty much do us. Here's a close-up footage of the Vortex scope. There's the sunshade. Comes with the scope. I think that's 3.5 inch. Maybe, yeah, I think that's 3.5. Fairly long sunshade, actually. Works quite nicely and works well. Make sure I get some shots of the rings, the base, so you guys can get a look at what I'm talking about. Pretty good base for 25 bucks. It'd be really sweet if they had it in 20 MOA, but I don't think they do. As you can see, if I can get the camera to cooperate here, the turrets are adjustable. The graduations are quite clear. See, I've got this all adjusted up. I'm not going to bother turning. Side one looks exactly the same, so there's no point. The caps, I believe, are aluminum or whatever. They're not plastic. Fairly nice scope. I think for the money, it's a pretty good deal. I've been very happy with how it's performed for me. And unless I win the lottery, I'm not likely to make any changes on this particular rifle. Anyway, there you have it. Hope you liked the video, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment. I pretty much will reply fairly quickly. And even if I don't know, I'll try and direct you on to somebody who hopefully does. Anyway, have a good one.